Alright guys, it's a cold wet one here in Oklahoma. As you can see outside, driveway's wet. It's only like 48 degrees outside as well. But I'm not here to talk about the weather again. I'm here to talk about Little Red. Yeah, that's Little Red down there. Or what was Little Red. But anyway, what I'm here to talk about is back when I first built Little Red, I thought about entering it into the all-terrain lawn tractor build-off. That was 2015. I would have had to dealt with the likes of people like Red02, Doc Sprocket. I'm not sure. Now, that was the year before the Diesel Weasel. But anyway, I'd already had it half built or over half built and decided it did not meet the criteria for the build-off. Well, as many of you know, I've backed out of the build-off with the Emerald Mutter. It wasn't going how I had planned or where I wanted to take it. And I originally bought the tractor to upgrade to Little Red. Well, talking with some of the members, and we decided Little Red needs more than 50% rebuild to be back in action. So we decided that Little Red will be in the 2025 all-terrain lawn tractor build-off. It's not changing, it's still going to be a mud mower, but as you can see, I'm all the way down to frame, and I've already been making some changes. I've got the 820 from the Emerald Mutter. Back over there is the front end and suspension. I'm going to have to chop it up and narrow it a bit to fit on Little Red because its frame is a little over 11 inches, about 11 and a half inches, where Emerald Mutter was 13 inches if I remember right. So it's an inch and a half narrower. That won't be a big deal. I'm going to reuse the rear pulley from Little Red. I've got a new pulley that I'm going to use for the front engine. I've got a couple. There was another one I was going to try, and there's another one somewhere else I was going to use, but the original from Little Red, but I decided it was a little too rusty and maybe a little bent. So we're not going to use that one. Probably going to retire that pulley. But anyway, all-terrain lawn tractor build-off 2025, Little Red. It's in the works. So let's get this thing started and let's start building. Alright guys, I've already removed the engine. It's up here again. Start my tear down. I'm going to take off the front end last. I'm going to take off the transaxle now. Probably going to go ahead and take the seat off and hang on to that for a little bit because I think that's the exact same seat I got on Little Red. I'll pick the better of the two. And there's a few other little pieces that I put on, like the bearings. So I'll get to that and I'll get back when it's all broke down. What you don't know is that's code for I'm going to blare the music while I do this and not record it so I don't get copyright infringements. Anyway, I'll get back with you in a minute. All right, transaxle's out, the front end's off, and the frame is ready to be put in the back of the pickup to haul to the back. So there we are. Next is to get that out of the way because I'm going to have to modify that little bit, that frame for the shock tires, to accept the slightly narrower frame of the wide body. And this one here, the transaxle, is just taking the caddy off and mounting the transaxle up on Little Red. I did overfill it with oil, so I'm gonna have to get some of that oil out, just a little bit. But off to move this out of the way and this out of the way, and let's go get Little Red. All right, I got Little Red in the garage. I'm ready to take out the MST 205, I believe, and put in the Peerless 820. Yeah, I know these tires are pretty beefy. I'll keep a hold of those as a backup, but I want to give those mud lights a go. Monolink is still functional, but it's seen its day. Poor Little Red hood doesn't even sit straight anymore. It's not even attached, I don't think. Nope. It's not attached in more ways than one. Let's see what else. I'm gonna pull the engine out after I put the transaxle in, and then start working on the front axle, putting the new on. And I will be going back to that hood. All right, guys, this just became a whole lot more involved. I'm gonna have to take it down to frame. I've got to take the fender pan off. Of course, to take that off, you got to take the dash off. I'm going to have the engine off here soon, probably. So, the reason I got to take it down to frame is I'm going to have to make my new links for the front of the transaxle, because I used them on Bowser. I think I can make them with these brackets here. While I was under there taking the exhaust pipe off, which is right here, I found a bunch of busted wires. I don't know if it's been busted or if rodent got in there and ate them or what, but it's going to need a full rewire. That's all right. I got some new plugs, but taking this down a whole lot further than I thought I would. I was hoping to have the transaxle in tonight, but it is not looking promising now. So, tear down. All right, engine is off and moving along. Now to get the dash, the fuel tank off, I'm probably going to call it a day there. All right, guys, I got it down to frame. Still haven't taken the monolink off because I'm using it as a roller right now. That'll probably come off later. Now I've got clear access to everything for the transaxle. These tires are coming off. They're going to be backup tires for maybe Dirty Rat or even maybe this. I think I'm going to keep this pulley. I've already wholly pulley modded it, and it's just a fraction smaller than what I was going to put on the Emerald Mutter. I like that. Wires, going to redo that. I need to take into consideration the brake rod. That I look like I've already modded this one to make it shorter, because I don't remember the bend being that big. Maybe it is. I don't know. But that's going to get modded to probably shorten up for the 820. Monolink's just a matter of taking this plate here and unbolting it, and taking the little frame extension basket, or whatever you want to call it. There's basically 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts up front, and that'll come off. And then I can start making a new one for the radius arm. This new phone does a lot of picking up my motion, making it blurry. Oh, it's not doing it now. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave that box on right now. Notice I really need to wash it before I do anything, because that other engine evidently had an oil leak or something, because there's oil there, unless it was from when it was rolled over. It's really dirty under there. Here's the fender pan. It needs cleaned too. It just needs cleaned up, maybe rubbed on a little bit. I don't know. I think I can get that shiny again pretty easily. There we go. Things are about to happen now. So 206, I think. Let's see. There's reverse. There's neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, it's 205. That's right. It's the original transaxle out of Bowser. It's got a 3/4 inch axle. 1 inch axle, 820. Here we come. Frame has been cleaned, all the dirt and oil off of it. Now it's time to change the transaxle. Well, the 820 is now bolted in, not completely. I still need my brackets from here to come up here. Gotta make those. But the 820 is now in. I've got the shifter already connected, but I gotta disconnect it to run my belt through. The MST sitting over there. Take the tires off and put it back in the cabinet. Alright guys, this time I'm actually wiring plugs instead of the little spade connectors like these things. But there will still be some of those. But quick disconnect plugs, like this is going to be back here eventually on these top 2 corners for my tail lights and brake lights. Basically I crimp these little ends on. They just basically come in the back side and snap in, but this one here I've accidentally flattened out. Let me pull the pin up a little bit. There we go. Basically building a wiring harness that I've not had. Let's make it where it's not going to be tangled up in a wiry mess. Yep, hear the click. Now it's in there. And now I'm going to probably go ahead and clean that up and wrap it up. And I've got my wiring now for my back 2 corners. And I'll do the same with the on the fender pan, wire this plug on the other side. So all it's got to do now is come in and snap in. That's all there is to it. See, just like that. Moving along. All right, we got the wire run to the back. There's a ground, which is heat shrinked. And then it comes up, comes to this plug, goes across, goes to that plug, which I'll have matching plugs on the fender pan for the tail and brake lights, because I do have brake lights. I use the brake switch for that. And right now I am working on making these brackets. And then I can put the fender pan on. I think I'm gonna call this video 1. All right guys, these are the brackets from the Emerald Butter. Basically what I'm doing is I'm cutting this line across, which will basically go something like that when I'm done. I'm coming back and cutting this line, and basically I am here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm turning it around and putting it back down. Then I'm going to weld this, and I'll clean up the upper edge, and this will meet where I need on the frame, and then this will meet on the transaxle. So that's what I'm doing right now. All right, I got one of these tacked up. There's the bolt in the side of the transaxle, comes up, and that's where I did the flip-flop. And now I just gotta pop a hole, which is almost there anyway. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave that ear on there, as I've used them in the past and it's not in the way. But do the same thing with the other one and finish welding them up and we'll be good. Be time to put the fender pan on. Looks like a little red was put away a little bit dirty the last time. Got one of my plugs done. Working on the other one. I just noticed I signed it the last time I did a refresh on it back in 2021. Anyway, I'll probably clean that spot off and add a 25. So anyway, I don't know if you can see them over there, but ooh, too far. Hanging right here. I've got my 2 brackets I made. They're hanging there drying. They should be dried by now. I'll get those installed and this will get installed and we'll be good to go. All right, side bracket number 1 is on. Side bracket number 2 is on. Transaxle is now fully installed. Time to put the tire back on and put the fender pan on and plug them in the lights. I'm crazy. To plug in the lights and we'll finish wiring up tomorrow or later this week. All right, the fender pan is down. Got a battery hooked up and doing a light test and they are working great. I'll disconnect the brake light. That should just leave the regular lights, which is the outsides. We're ready to bolt down the fenders. We'll do that next time. We're moving along. In the next video, we're going to reinstall the steering tower or the dash tower, and we'll finish up wiring. That'll include, and also probably put the engine on. No, we're not going to put the engine on because we need to do the front before we add a lot of weight. But we'll have from here back complete, hopefully in the next video. We'll catch you then.